Good evening and welcome back to another Sunday Night Live at 8 p.m. with me, Steve, of RBM. So it's a different one today because I'm alone. I'm all on my own. Not done this before on my own, so I'm relying on you guys in the comments to ask your questions and give your thoughts and ideas. So we have something to discuss and engage with. I normally have my regular guest, One Gen Media, with me, but he can't make it. I did try and get a couple of other guests on. That were involved in the event, but they can't make it, so I'm stuck on my own, and yeah, that's pretty much it. But welcome, and hope you're all having a good evening. Good to see you all once again. I didn't do one last week because I was away, still in London. I went there for a few days for the event. Had the night with Ben Habib on the Friday before it. Actually, Thursday. It was the Thursday night. That was a great event. Hearing Ben Habib live and yeah, speaking with him was really good. And of course, he had a good panel. It was a David Vance event, and they had Baroness Hoey there as well. And to my surprise, when I was waiting for the train, Baroness Hoey actually came up onto the platform to get the train as well, all alone on her own. And I don't know whether I'm just ignorant, but it's something that I've not really seen before. I thought lords, ladies, barons, and baronesses, get chauffeured around with security, but no, she was all on her own. So we ended up sharing a train journey together and having a good old chat, politics and so on, and about the event, which was good. And then of course we had the event, which was today's main discussion, what people think of the event. And yeah, so it looks like we have one person backstage. Normally I ask for the camera to be on because I like full transparency, and I think it's more engaging to have the camera on, but that's all good. We'll get you up, Jupiter. You're in the show, Jupes. Hey, how are you doing?
I'm all right. I saw you live. I thought I'd catch you because I don't always catch you. See you doing it once. So you managed to go to the event?
Yeah, well, I was part of the media team this time, so I had a media pass and all access and to make a better video, get some interviews and so on. Which I have put the video up, the highlights on my channel. But for some reason, whether I don't know how to make thumbnails or anything else that YouTube recommend, it just doesn't get shown. So it's only got about 500 odd views, which is surprising because there's some good interviews in there. There's interviews with Baston, Bougie and Don Keith, and some small clips with Paul Thorpe and Danny Salmon, etc. So it's a good video and well worth a watch, but it just doesn't get shared.
Don't worry, I'll review it for you. I'll review it. At the moment, I'm a bit busy decorating, so I haven't been too busy doing any reviews or any shows at the moment, but I will be back soon. I will review it for you, get your name out there again. Cheeky, could you do us a favour? Would you be able to drop this in a few places, please? This particular live stream for him.
Hi, Cheeky Chops. Good evening.
Get a few people over here.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's like I say, normally I like to have like the cameras on, so because I think it's more engaging. But on this occasion, seeing as it's you, I thought, why not?
Yeah, thank you. But I'm not done up for the camera. If you do that, I'm off. You know what us women are like. I'll be like, no, that's it. I'm not. No. Especially as I'm decorating, I've got paint in my hair and everything.
Yeah, I hate that. I hate painting, especially painting the ceilings, because you can't get it out your eyes unless you're wearing goggles and fully covered up and that. But I was on my own tonight, so it's good you came on because someone to chat to and discuss the event.
Yeah, so no, it was nice that you managed to go to the event. I mean, I'm hearing that it was really good from what I've seen from footage and that, because I weren't well. I ended up getting flu, which really annoyed me because I wanted to be there. But it was a big turnout anyway, so that was good.
Yeah, I mean, they say big. I mean, there's numbers floating around saying 100,000, etc., in excess of. It was nowhere near that. I think the crowd and the turnout was quite small, to be honest. I think it could have been a lot more, but then a lot of that is to do with the weather and this time of year, as you say, people get flu, they get ill, and for some reason the numbers just weren't there. But I expected a hell of a lot more. I think obviously when Tommy Robinson's out and when he's there, he pulls in a big crowd as well. Plus the warmer weather.
Oh yeah, I mean Tommy normally pulls in a much bigger crowd, but the funny thing is, I normally tend to end up being at the ones that he's not actually at. I was outside Belmarsh and I was there back in thingy. I tend to go more to them, and I probably would have gone to this one because where I
I
share a
did
lot
have a
of
look
value.
out. I did keep
Yeah,
an eye out to see if I'd see you about, but I
yeah, I
didn't.
will
So,
do. I'll definitely meet up with you at some
but
point. But
yeah,
the reason that I'm not. This is going to sound really nuts. I support Tommy absolutely,
yeah,
but because I know so well what he thinks, because of being following him for such a long time and standing with him and saying, he should never have been in Belmarsh, let alone in this place.
no, exactly.
For me, hearing him say his views over and over is a little bit boring. I much prefer the rallies where we say we want Tommy out, rather than sort of like going down there listening to the other ones. Whereas others go
Yeah,
for all of them.
I mean,
Some people are starstruck with Tommy. Let me put it that way. I'm saying.
oh
You
yeah,
know.
I mean, we've seen when he's been about before. People just swarm him. Like, he's got that appeal. But I mean, sometimes it gets
Yeah.
boring hearing the message, but the message has to be repeated, otherwise it gets ignored and gets forgotten. I
True.
think it's an important thing. I think, like on X, I think the British Patriot channel, he said yesterday he's going to be flooding X all day with the grooming gang scandal, because slowly it seems like it's fading away. There was all it was all over X, and there was a lot of talk about it, and slowly it's being less talked about. And I think, yeah, like he said, he's going to flood X with it because he's got to keep it on people's minds and keep it current so it doesn't get forgotten. So some
Yeah,
messages do need
I
to be
think
repeated.
exactly. I do think. I mean, I've got a load stored up from when it first hit the news again recently.
Yeah,
Like Heretics, Liam Tafts, but all of the ones that went round. All the big streams. I've got them
yeah,
all saved because I did say to a couple of my followers, I will keep constantly reviewing, but at the moment I'm decorated. But I will definitely be doing some more streams soon. And
yeah. I've come into a couple of your streams to have a listen, because I always find it quite educational, speaking to different people. But the couple of times I've come in, it's just been yeah, it seems like war in there. Everyone arguing, fighting with each other,
well,
and
I'll tell you, there's a history to it. So I'm somebody that came through. Well, I didn't actually come through Speaker's Corner. I was a Tommy follower before that.
yeah.
Of my own accord, just through. I'll tell you, I can tell you the genesis of it actually.
Obviously, I
So
mean, to me,
obviously,
it's
because
just
of my marriage,
yeah,
I kept hearing about this bloke that was meant to be so racist in the newspapers, and I was curious. I was like, why would someone be that badly racist in this day and age?
mm,
What has he got to say? What is he worried about? And I went and watched his Oxford Union address, and I come out of there thinking he's not racist. What the hell were they talking about?
yeah,
So as soon as I saw that, I was all over my Facebook, like shouting and hollering to people. This bloke that I knew, loads of people, I was like, you need to go and look at his video. This is terrible what they're doing to him. It's disgusting.
yeah.
And that was it. I was hooked into sort of like, just talking about what Tommy talks about and following him and listening to him. And
And
yeah,
that's the
so
thing. I mean, a lot
yeah,
of people don't go
basically.
away to learn. A lot of people from the past, they've heard, oh, Tommy's a racist, etc., and they just believe it. Especially on the left side, with their warped minds, and they don't want to learn. They want to stick to what they've heard. And for some reason, they get off and just saying, yeah, he's a racist, you're all racist, you're all far right, this and that.
Yeah.
Whereas they're ignorant to learn. They're ignorant to go away and actually research properly
Well,
and
yeah,
find
that's
out for
so.
themselves that he's not. I
So
think they're just
then what
comfortable in their
happened
own ways of
was,
hate.
yeah. So then what happened was he went to Speaker's Corner, didn't he? And
Yeah,
I'd already the two worlds of mine collided because I already used to go to Speaker's Corner but not go on camera. If you know what I mean.
yeah, yeah.
I'd done from a child actually. My grandmother took me down there as a grandchild when I was a grandchild. But so I was used to Speaker's Corner, and then he went there, and the two worlds sort of collided, and then you had the freedom events and everything else. And I was down Speaker's Corner one day, and somebody, Ali Dawa, know Ali Dawa?
I've heard of him. Yeah, I've seen him about.
He come up
Seen a
thinking I
few
was going to be
videos.
a complete novice and said to me, excuse me, madam, are you English? And I was like, yes. He said, could I ask you a few questions about Tommy Robinson? Do you know who Tommy Robinson is? And I was like, yeah. And he started going on one, and I put him in his place. And, you know, I think one of the things I said to him is, it's not funny now because I look back with a bit of embarrassment, but I said, I don't understand why you're politically playing in this place either. I said, because people are not allowed to park their cars on the pavement. Why are you allowed to park your ass?
Yeah.
And it went viral. Yeah.
Well, you got to put him in his place. I've heard a lot of bad things about him. How he spreads a lot of false truths.
And then obviously I started going on to some. Then the COVID hit, and people that were speakers down at Speakers Corner started making their own sort of channels. So I used to go on to chat to them like I would have done in the park. And then some of them pissed me off, so I ended up doing my own channel. And it ended a bit of a war between the lefties and me. So that's what you see happening a lot, is the left.
That's what I mean. I come in and I hear a load of people arguing in that, but I don't know who they are, I don't know the backstory. So, you know, for me, it's just a few people having a row that I know nothing about. But but yeah, no, I've sat through some of your lives where they've been, you know, really educational, where you're discussing issues on people from both sides, and I find it interesting to hear other people's thoughts. And you know, because I'm trying to learn every day myself. You know, the more I get into this, the more knowledge I need, and so I'm always looking to learn and figure stuff out. I've never been into religion fully, so you know, I never knew what the religions were about. So I've been learning that over the past few months. And
I prefer it when people talk politics and talk their opinion and stay off the personals. Unfortunately, the left will always drag you into a personal, you know.
Yeah, they do. And like I say, they're ignorant to learn. You can't argue with them. You can't argue with stupid, and the left are stupid, in my opinion. So it's best not trying to debate with them. But yeah, it's yeah. As for the rally, it was like I say, it was all right. There was a fair few people there.
So who did you meet down there that you hadn't met before?
Yeah, I spoke to lots of people. Like I spoke to Danny Salmon and had a little short interview with him, a few words for the video. Paul Thorpe. Yeah, Danny. I met Danny Roscoe obviously for the first time. You know, I've done a couple of lives now that he's been on, and spoken to him online. So it was
I thought you'd met him before.
Nah, no, only online. Yeah.
Yeah, Danny's all right, isn't he?
Yeah, so it was good to finally meet him. He's a good bloke.
Did you get to speak to Richard Inman? He's another good guy.
Yeah, I spoke to Richard a few times. Got his number as well, so you know.
Did you get to meet Ginger Tony?
Ginger Tony. I haven't heard of Ginger Tony.
No, she always helps Tommy with sorting out a lot of stuff, these things, and Kaz. They're the stewards.
I might have met them, but I don't know them face by name. I did meet a few of the stewards. You know, the stewards are lovely. Chatting to a few of them. Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, so. I always find those rallies really uplifting. You come away buzzing, thinking, actually something is being done. And then gradually you sort of get deflated again. I mean, have you heard about the attack that Mayor Toos is talking about? Apparently it's random attack in Dublin.
Yeah, I've seen that. I've had a good look on X as well to see what's going on. I mean, the first thing that came out was, you know, a load of people, knives, attacks, etc. And everyone's jumping on the bandwagon saying, deport them, before we even know who the person is that's doing it. Now, I don't know if there's any more information that's come to light since I've checked like a couple of hours ago, but
I've not heard
who's behind the attacks.
I'm not going to sit here and say it's definitely a migrant or something without knowing.
No, I'm not. Like I say, there's a lot of people in the comments that are saying, you know, like deport them, you know, automatically assuming that it's a migrant or an illegal or whatever. But there's no information out there, so I can't comment on that. I'm waiting for it to come out to see who actually.
But for me, whether it's a migrant or not is not really. I mean, it is important Don't get me wrong. But even if it's not, the standards of that we had in this country has dropped so much that people, are in danger every day, really, especially in big cities,
To be honest, I think it is important if it is migrants, and it also depends on what ideology they're following, because we're seeing this more and more and more, and these occurrences are happening more and more and more because of what they support. So if it is again a migrant or someone that follows certain ideologies, then I think that is important, because it's highlighting as well how they keep on doing it, and it needs to be stopped. Yeah, one gen there, evening bro, still hanging from last night. Yeah, that's my regular guest there, my bro, one gen. But
is it?
Yeah. So
did they ever come up and talk to you?
Well, one gen's my regular guest. We normally do the show together. So
yeah, I've not met One Generation.
Yeah, he came in on your live a couple of times as well, and
he probably come in when it was nutty and thought sod this and left.
I think he left a few comments and said hello and that, but I don't think he got noticed.
Hold on one
he was there. So but yeah, he's also covering the events and basically doing media with me. So yeah, anyone who wants to go and give him a follow, do so. So he's also putting it out there, and he has his own views as well. So normally we like to discuss them here, but yeah. But as you said about these events, how they're uplifting, and they give you a buzz. I mean, I don't know. I've kind of had a different effect this time, because I think I've spent the last week just being a bit down, depressed, and not really looking online at the news or anything. Just taking my mind off it, doing other stuff for the past week. And I think
why have you been depressed for the last week?
Well, I think it's because you go to the event, and like you say, it's a buzz, it's a good day out, and everyone's fighting for a good cause, and what change we want to see. And then I get back home, and it's just like, you go from a high to a low, and I think the low always hits me quite hard. And then I'm like bored again, I'm down and that, and then I'm reading the news, and another boy gets attacked, killed recently, etc. And then there's all the other negative news, and it just all gets into my head and just completely breaks me down. Like, it feels like we're having these events, we're having these marches and rallies, shouting at the top of our voices to be heard, and all these attacks and these crimes are still happening, and nothing's being done, and that's killing me as well. Trying to read about it, just seeing it continue, and knowing that you're practically helpless to do anything about it, because even if you try and speak out against it, they shut you down. If you say the one wrong thing, we don't have free speech. We have to be careful what we say. We have to tread on eggshells. Whereas I just want to come out, say what I want, say what's on my mind, and be heard. But I can't do that because, you get into trouble.
You have to get clever. That's what you have to do. I mean, well, it all depends. I mean, if you want to be as brave as Danny Roscoe and Tommy Robinson and others, and you're willing to take the hits that come with it, that's fine.
Yeah.
If not,
but
you just need to be clever.
Have to be careful, I suppose, to a certain extent.
I don't know. I think sometimes they take big risks. They are quite funny,
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. It's like, you're not going to have much of a voice if you're banged up inside. And I think I said that to Danny as well when he said about his activism. And I says, he still has to be careful because, being inside, he's going to have no voice. The same as Tommy can't talk to us all right now, and guide us, lead us as people expect him to do. And I see, I know why he done it. It was a good cause, but at the end of the day, we need to be out there highlighting this as much as we can, but being careful about it so we can keep highlighting it.
Yeah. Well, I got carted off, didn't I? At one point, they arrested me for running the far right. I have to laugh. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm not even exaggerating. I had this girl, you might know her, Zubida, that used to come from Speaker's Corner. She was a Muslim lady.
Yeah.
I told her she was a terrorist apologist because on Remembrance Day she came onto a live stream and was bigging up the Mujahideen, and
right.
She went running off to the police and said I'd called her a terrorist and that I was this big important person that was running the far right and I was in charge of it all, and they come to my house and carted me off. They didn't charge me, got no further action, but sort of point. It was ridiculous, really. I've never been arrested in my life, and they must have known that I weren't in charge of the far right, for God's sake. I mean, I just think it was a data collection as well at the same time.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm the same. You know, I haven't been arrested since I was a kid. I've always, you know, kept myself clean, kept a clean record. You know, never really went over the law, which is why it's so hard doing this, because I've spent my whole life, you know, keeping myself clean, if you like, to try and talk about these issues that could get you having a knock at the door. Which is why you got to be careful about it. But I still think that, you know, we need to get the message out there. We need to speak up on all these issues while being careful. So obviously, I still want to keep my record clean, but also trying to get the message out there in a smart way that people understand without getting in trouble. And yeah, that's pretty much it. It's like this YouTuber a couple of days ago. I can't think of his name off the top of my head, but he had a knock on the door because in one of his videos he was complaining about Starmer, and I think in the video he mentioned ropes and lampposts and something like that, and because of it he got a knock at the door and he was arrested. That came out a couple of days ago, so a few people have been posting about that. So again, they're still going after people and YouTubers just for having an opinion and what they think. And
some of it though is just opportunism. So if you get popular, they will get jealous that you get popular, and then they will try and take you down.
Yeah, that's it. One wrong step, and
which is quite sad.
Yeah. So you know, and then of course they're coming up with these blasphemy laws, you know, and if they get pushed, then we're not even going to be able to criticise the root cause of all these problems.
That is more worrying. That is more worrying.
because then what do we do? You know, if we can't criticise, I mean, it's like I've said to a couple of people, I don't even know why we're having to fight so hard to raise this awareness and this issue. It's there in black and white, you know. The hideous crimes that these ideologies create, you know, they're there to be seen. So why the hell are people having to fight so hard? You know?
Well, it's like we're in an alternate universe. It's weird. It's all gone mental.
I don't get it. And,
you know, when people say we need to bring back common sense, we truly do, because how can people still be so complacent when there were so many victims from grooming to begin with? Then on top of that, you had innocent children maimed and murdered, and there's still people out there that are still sort of like just taking it in their stride.
Yeah, no, exactly. And that's like I said, I don't understand it. I can't get it through my head. How come they don't listen or don't see it as a problem or won't do anything about it, and why they're trying to shut down the people that are trying to fight and say, right, look, it's there, it's a problem, it's there, they can read it for themselves, it's in black and white in the book. So yeah, it baffles me, it really does. I'll never get my head around it, but either way, we just keep having to make noise and keep up the fight. So,
just keep using your voice. That's all you got left, and just be prepared for the worst, you know. So you can do. Anyway, I'm going to pop off. I just thought I'd pop on. I promised you that I would. I will be listening. So what are you talking about once I've gone? What's your topics?
Pretty much what I've discussed with you. So I didn't expect it, because normally I do these, for about an hour long. I think the last time I did one, Danny Roscoe came on just as we were going to stop after about an hour, so we ended up going on for an hour more. But I thought, as I'm on my own today, it'll probably be a short one, just discuss these issues, which most I've just discussed with you. And well,
there is a lot going on. I mean, not only the blasphemy laws. Have you seen the latest things to do with Southport? You know, the mothers two of the mothers were really upset that the judge actually read out the injuries on the news. I think that's disgusting if they requested that not to. Even if it is in the public interest, I think that the public would have understood that why they weren't going deeply into the injuries. I think they would have understood that. I think they would have preferred it if they went more deeply into the individual, and were a bit more truthful about the person rather than what he actually did and glorifying in a funny kind of way what he done. And then we've heard the person that turned up there that helped get some of the children outside, the plumber, I think he was. he's
Yeah.
spoken out, saying that he don't believe the man should ever be let out of prison. So I think people
No.
are gradually speaking up as well from the actual inner core to do with that. I just think it's unbelievable that we've got to this stage in our country where these events can happen and we're being told that you're racist if you talk about it. It's unbelievably stupid.
Yeah, exactly. That's
You
the
know,
thing, and that's with these United Kingdom marches. They're a good celebration, but they're also there to shout loud outside houses of Parliament so that they hear us. About the problems. Like the last one was for stop the isolation of the political prisoners and free Tommy Robinson, etc. But we won't get heard. We never do. We can shout as loud as we want. They won't do nothing. And
I think we
we're
are
talking
being heard.
about it.
It's just slow. It's a slow
Yeah,
pushback.
but we're not being heard by the people that can do anything, which is the Labour government, because they don't want to hear us. That's the problem. They're the people that need to hear us.
Oh, I think they can hear us. I think they're just turning a blind eye, and I think it's because it's not just as simple as we don't fit with their ideology. I think that there's probably some really nefarious stuff behind it all, as well as corruption. I wouldn't look.
Yeah.
We already know that there was a list of politicians that were put out that were Labour that have done some terrible stuff with children.
No, exactly.
I think it's more than the amount they've put out. I think, and that's my own personal belief, my own opinion. But and then you've got all the financial corruption and everything else, backdoor dealings, the fact that they want votes, all of it has fed into this atmosphere of what's happened. But like you say, we have to keep talking, and you have to keep talking, because otherwise we won't get justice. And it's not just justice for all the girls and the victims. It's the ones that could be victims in the future.
Yeah,
that's why we have to keep going.
Sometimes people need a recharge as well, which is why I says I haven't really done much in the past week.
It can become depressing.
Yeah, I mean, I've suffered depression, deep depression at times in my life, and it's slowly getting back, because all I ever read, and try and highlight is negative news, and it's seeing the state of this country and what's becoming
it's
of it.
sad.
And, it's fucking depressing, I tell you, and it's hard sometimes to just keep going. So I take a few days off to get my mind off it, watch something else, watch a couple of films and that, and just not even think about it, just to recharge, and try and recharge and keep fighting, because we can't just hide away from it, and we can't not keep going. We have to keep.
I'll tell you who's another one to review, and he might even come on your show. That Raja Maya, he's been doing the rounds. He might even come on, if you emailed him.
He did the show with Liam Tufts a week
ago. Yes, that one.
Yeah,
well, he's spoken to. He's quite happy to go and speak and get it out there all over the place. And he's got loads of info. I'd love to bring him on mine, but because I do have the odd lefty that turns up and causes chaos, I can't quite do that sort of like highbrow stuff that you do. I do more of the frontline fighting and showing them that they're stupid, kind of.
Which is still good. No, I'll definitely tune in, like, because I browse YouTube, and when I see your live.
Anyway, I'm gonna go. Like I said, take care. I will come back and I will talk to you again, and next time I'll make sure I'm camera ready.
Nice.
All right then, take care. See you all later. Bye, Robert. Take care.
Bye,
take care.
So there we go. That was Jupes. That was good to have Jupes on. I'd say watched a few of her lives, and they are good. But going on to more about the event, I suppose, is I got a few pictures that I took when I was there, and like these ones, they're important points where people are taking away these banners, free Tommy, etc. My photography is not the best. That's the thing. I'm kind of new to the media game and everything, and I'm trying to learn how to take good photos and video and everything else, but doing my best. So these were just a few of the pictures that I took at the rally, trying to highlight some people's signs and banners. So got this one here, which I think is a quite powerful sign in the middle of the crowd of patriots there, and kids dying, government and media lying, which is absolutely true. The government, government and media are just hiding things, brushing everything under the carpet, and we're the ones that are trying to highlight the issues and let the world know, which is why the rise of the new media is the way it's got to be, because without us, images like this don't get shown, and the mainstream media will never show it. And I think that was quite an important banner that they held up there. Let's go for a few more pictures that I got here. So you got Paul Thorpe there. I think that is CP Audits. I think she was doing some stuff for Tusi. An auditor, I believe. But yeah, there's Paul Thorpe mingling with the crowd. So keep your comments coming anyway, so we can discuss. And if anyone does want to come, then I think I've pinned the link to StreamYard up there. So if anyone wants to come on, hit the link and come and have a chat. This is another picture here. I think it's quite good. I like the big banner of this one with Peter Lynch, because again, that big banner shows everyone that people are keeping his name alive. Like someone like that who fights for the cause and speaks his mind, only to end up dead on the government's hands, is someone we should never forget. So I think it's important, and well done to the people who brought that banner out. In terms of Peter Lynch, here's another nice picture I took. I didn't quite catch this lady's name. I think she's part of the team, but I just thought it was a picture I took at the right time, because I was trying to get a nice picture of the banner with Parliament and Big Ben in the background, and of course, just as I got into position, they started moving back because I was a bit late to get the photo opportunity. But as I snapped the photo, it came out like this, and I thought, with this lady there holding the phone up, big smile on that, still got the banner and Big Ben. I thought it was quite a good picture, actually. So it wasn't on purpose, but it turned out to be quite a good one. So if anyone knows this lady, she probably liked this picture. Probably send that. And yeah, there's another important sign there in the middle of the crowd. UK Stop the R of White Children, which of course I fully agree with, but if anything, it should be saying, stop that for all children. Of course, the Pakistani gangs are predominantly targeting white children, but they do target other ethnicities as well. So I think it's important that it's mentioned that should be for all children that are suffering. And there's another iconic picture here. You got Street Mark there in his Union Jack suit, which I think he took this idea from another gentleman that attends the rallies in the past that I've seen wearing this exact suit. So I think he's taken that idea. But you got the London Eye there. You got the Patriots marching towards while he's doing an interview. So, like I say, I'm no professional photographer, but these are the best pictures that I can do in my current state. And it's something to speak about anyway. Well, I haven't got anything else to speak about. So, and there we go again. That's under the bridge, just as we was about to start the march. Stop the isolation, fight for Tommy and the political prisoners and the people holding the banner. You got Danny Salmon there, which for some reason, I took the picture of him snarling. I don't know what the snarl was about. Whether he was going for the mean look for the camera photo or just, his leg or something, I don't know, but I thought that was quite funny how he came out. And then I have a cinematic shot, which didn't turn out too cinematic, but I wanted to go from the London Eye to like a sign to the crowd, and this just highlights. So yeah, these are just highlights of the event. Going to the sign there, and then to the crowd, which I thought was all right. And one more point I wanted to discuss, actually, is this.
We'll be live throughout the whole day. We've got backstage passes, so you get to see behind the scenes. Stick with me.
So as you can see, you've got the flag sellers there, people selling the gear to do with England hats. And you can see one of them there pocketing the money from selling the flag. Now, these flags, the ones he's got on his back, I was buying them off Temu last year during the Euros. I was buying them off Temu for £2.20 each, I think it was. And I was doing a car boot sale, flogging them there, because that's what I do. I buy stuff and I sell it to make money. So so I bought a load of them. Now, I saw these guys charging £15, 15 quid for one of those flags. They were selling the little ones that you hold in your hand for £5. And I thought 15 quid, and I know they're getting them for about £2.50 a piece, probably less if they're buying them in bulk. And I didn't quite agree with this. At first I thought nothing of it, but it was only over the past couple of days that I actually thought about it. And it just makes me wonder if, there are a lot of people actually buying them. A lot of people. I saw a lot of people handing over their cash, and which is fair enough. People want to make some money. That's fair enough. And people want to buy an England flag or whatever when they're there. That's fair enough as well. But I think it's wrong that these people were doing it, because that money could quite easily go to a charity or, a good cause. Like if anyone was going to be selling all the England gear and England flags, I think it should be the organisers of the events that actually do that. And then the profits that they're making, like I say, £15 on something that's £2.20, that's a shitload of markup. That's huge markup. And that could quite easily have gone to the cost of running the event, to charities, all the girls' lives, young girls that have suffered their lives, it could have gone to a charity for them. And I think in the future, if anything, I'd like to see that the United Kingdom organisers have their own people selling merchandise and then giving the proceeds to charity. I think people just, selling it off their own back and pocketing the money for themselves, I think is bad taste for what the march is about and what we're fighting for. So I just wanted to speak about that point, as there was a couple of these sellers there. And I just think in future it should be done properly by the organisers. And like I say, giving the money to the charities or something that the cause and the march supports. But that's the main thing I wanted to say on that. And yeah, I'm going to wrap this up now anyway. Like, I've been going through all of that, and I haven't got one comment in the comments, so thanks, guys. But, thank you for those that have come and given a watch anyway and stuck with me. But I guess with no one commenting, discussing, or doing anything, what's the point of me doing it? So I ain't got nothing to talk about then, have I? Apart from the issues that I've already spoken about and got off my chest. So, not that I'm being moody, but, what's the point sometimes? Try and do these, get the message out there, get a lot of people hearing ideas and thoughts and stuff about the event and get no one watching. But anyone that has watched, I appreciate you and thank you very much for your time. And I'll see you hopefully with a guest next week. Bye for now. Take care. Good evening.